What's going on? It's the Chivalrous Knight and I'm back. I was just sitting here thinking after I made the last video that I wanted to talk a little bit more about what I'm doing right now. Yes, I do drive for Schneider. I've been wanting to drive for this load board opportunity since I got into trucking because this was my exact goal. This is what I felt like was my stage 2. Stage 1, get licensed, drive for company, get the feel of the industry firsthand. Because I watched my pops do it from afar, didn't really see much of it, and didn't really understand a lot of it. Did that for a very small amount of time. I knew the next step was leasing, and I'm doing that. And I ain't just the load board. For those of you who don't know, which it's hard to believe at this stage, know that anybody in any kind of interest, with any kind of interest in trucking doesn't know this, but the load board, what they call it for interstate, they call it the Freedom Board, which is a good name. And I believe the same guy that created the Schneider Choice board created the Freedom Board, is what I've been told. And so Freedom Board and Choice Board are good words to describe the load board option that you have as a person pursuing a lease with a carrier. And what this gives you, what the selling edge, the biggest selling edge to this is that you can come and go as you please. You can move and stop when you want. You can pick exactly what load you want. You can go with what part of the country you want to go to. You want to go to Washington State, go ahead. You want to go to Cali, you do that. You want to ride around Texas, you got that too. You want to drop down to Florida, go for it. And if for some reason you want to ride into Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont, there's some stuff over there too. But I don't suggest going in the winter. and for those who wants to ride in the open plains and of Wyoming and Nebraska, I've done that. Pretty scenery. Got enough pictures on Instagram. And I spent a lot of my time around the Chicago, Midwest area. And the load board allowed me to do it all. I've been to every state I wanted to drive into. And since I've been a trucker, the only states I haven't driven into are North and South Dakota and Montana. I've driven through every other state. And I would have never been able to do that if I wasn't a trucker. So it's just something that's cool to say. I drove in out of the 48 contiguous states. I've driven through 45 of them. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people want to experience is becoming a trucker. The Choice Board and the Freedom Board allows you to do that. And once you become somebody that drives for yourself as a person under your own authority and become a carrier, that's another way you could get to every single state and see the whole country. And I've seen almost all the country. And anyways, it's real nice out here. It's a lot of beautiful locations, a lot of amazing mountains, a lot of interesting sunsets, a lot of big old deserts with no trees or cactuses for that much. in this area is covered with trees and mountains, and rivers and valleys. But yeah, in trucking, that's what allowed me to do it. And the Freedom and Choice board type style of load boards that carriers have, allowed me to see all that by my own choice and when I wanted to do it. So with that, if it's like bad weather, like right now, let's say not right now, a week or so ago, there was a hurricane in Texas, in Houston, Corpus Christi area. A lot of flooding, a lot of bad rain and wind and all that stuff that comes with a hurricane. And there's some people that probably was still required to drive near that with their jobs. Not me. I was in Illinois. And there's another one coming in the Florida area. And then it's going to hit more likely Georgia, South and North Carolina, stuff like that. Will I be anywhere near that when it happens? No. And when the wintertime comes and the snow is falling all over New York and Pennsylvania and Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, will I be anywhere near it? No. As soon as it drops, gets scooped up, then I'll drive in and make the money. And that's how you get to experience trucking as a choice board or freedom board driver. And you can't beat it. Once you've been a company driver, you really understand the value of coming and going as you please, going home when you want to. Like right now, let's just say I wanted to go home every week. Let's say I lived in Dallas, Texas. There's plenty of loads coming out of that area. I could leave. I can go just about anywhere in the country from Dallas because I've seen the loads. I've seen the load boards, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 loads any given point during the week. Go out anywhere, get a load. A lot of times I can get a load probably if I'm in the next state over, come right back. And I can go home if I lived in Dallas. Hop in my car, go home for a night. Get back in the truck. Go out, take a load, come back. Doing that, I probably can gross like $2,000, $2,500 if I did that like that. And, my fixed cost is around $1,100. And with a short week like that, like 2,000 miles, you probably didn't spend no more than $600 in fuel. So, I could take home $400 or $500, but, I don't know who would want to do that, but, but that's the choice you have. Like if you want to do that for a couple weeks, just to be around the house more, because it could be something going on at the house. Your wife could have just had a baby, and you just want to stop back in the house every few days to see your first child or whatever, third child, just to see your infant. You have that choice, and still make a little bit of money. And if you don't have anybody to go home to, or you don't have a home, could you live out your truck now? Could you let your lease, you paid your lease all the way out to the end and you didn't renew your lease. Now you don't have no $1,000 a month apartment to rent, more money to the pocket. And if you don't have a car, or if you do, you got, you're parking at a family's house or whatever. Now you could choose to take your 34-hour resets or take your time off anywhere. So, hey, you can go over to Cali, do a couple loads, take a load over to Nevada, to the Las Vegas area, drop a load, chill in Vegas. Look at that. You got paid to drive to Vegas. And you can stay there for a few days if you like. Spend your money. Or, you might feel like, man, I'd like to go down to Miami. Catch an Uber, hit the strip. You could do that too. I drove down there to Pompano Beach. Drove right by Miami. You could do that. It's hard to find a place to park a truck down there. And, you can find a load somewhere near Disney World. Go visit Disney World. If you've never been. Just walk in and say you did it. Get you a ticket, ride on Space Mountain and all that good stuff. You also can, because with it, you could take your breaks anywhere. I got a buddy that he visits family, got family all over the place. He stops at his family's towns and cities and whatever. And they come and scoop him up from the truck stop. And he hangs out with family he hasn't seen in years, or friends he hasn't seen since he was in the military. Being a retired military veteran and all that. I mean, you could do so much. I can imagine if you were pursuing a goal of like making music and stuff, you could probably set up a little studio in the back of this truck. Make all your money, spend your money on your studio equipment, spend your money doing whatever else you need to do to promote yourself, making websites or hiring producers and purchasing beats and all that stuff. You can pursue your career being an artist from the truck. I don't know. But you could do so much with the truck driver career. It's just almost feel like it's unlimited to what you can do. As long as you're a safe driver and you don't violate the laws and you take care of yourself, you could turn this into a whole lot of things. But yep, as a Schneider driver, like I said, I got a truck payment and all that good stuff. Ain't nothing. It comes out the settlement every week. I ain't even got to think about it. I just pick and click and roll. And the challenge of making the highest amount of money per week, trying to beat your last high, I've only been doing this for about 5 or 6 months, so the most I've ever taken in is around 17 something. I've taken home about $1,700. And I know I can make more. I know other people that have made more. A person I really look up to named Jeffrey Like has a YouTube channel, for those of you who don't know. And, they call him a lot of different things. The Professor, the Godfather. He's been trucking for like 26 years. And the guy has all the numbers you ever want to know. Watch his channel and he breaks things down to a mathematical level. I mean, he breaks it down. But yeah, he made, on a video, I think he showed his numbers that he did like last year or something like that. And his profit number was double mine, which lets me know I got some ways to go before I quite figure this thing out. If I can double my profit margin right now, that could be some really nice numbers per week right there. So that $1,700 would be a thing of the past once I figure out how to do it just like he did. And if I could better than him would be the ideal thing. But yeah, if I get close, I'll be okay. I have a 3.5-year lease. And then I can turn this truck in because I don't intend to I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but by that point I would have decided whether I want to purchase this truck all the way out. If that's an option that's worth pursuing, that I can afford to pursue. I know the balloon payment or the buy option payment in the end for this truck, I think it's like $50,000. I think for other people it could be like $30,000 and whatnot. But I think they offer you if you want to finance it out for that last year or two or whatever, and just buy the truck all the way out. But I don't know. I don't think I will. I'll probably get into something what you call a full maintenance lease that Jeffrey told a lot of us about that didn't have a clue what that was. And I'll probably take that option. I don't plan on staying in Schneider. Now that I got a taste of this freedom and a taste of the load board, the national load boards would be my next goal. With more loads and more money for the loads. It's a no-brainer. Obvious next step. And you could do that working for another carrier, and you could do that if you get your own authority. Either one of them's an option for me, especially by that point. But, you know, we'll see. That's what I'm working on. And but that's it. This is Chivalrous Night. So I'll see y'all in the next one.